unionist majority in the Assembly has been ended, and the notion of a permanent or a perpetual unionist majority has been demolished. Now, we need to reflect on that, but so do the leaders of unionism, and so does everyone on this island, and particularly the people in this part of the island. We have been given a very, very positive mandate. Michelle O'Neill made it clear that what we won, we would win for everyone, and we intend to assert that mandate and to be true to the commitments which we have been given. We want to engage as quickly as possible in a process to put the political institutions in place once again, and that they should run on the basis that they were founded on. So Michelle will say a few words, and then any questions you have. Hiya, Patrick. Morning, Far. Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, well, later on today and tomorrow morning, I intend to have a conversation with both the British government and the Irish government to discuss the way forward. I've also made contact with leaders of all the political parties to talk about next week and how we're going to conduct ourselves in the time ahead. We obviously have a period of 3 weeks in front of us, and whilst the task isn't easy, I think that it's achievable if people come at it with the right attitude. On Monday morning, I will lead our team into the Assembly, where we're ready to deal with all the issues. We're ready to tackle what's been outstanding from previous agreements, and we're ready to get back to delivering for all people.
Okay, folks, so Ian Ketchen, Ian and Shaw as DG Cahir, no note. Yeah, so
well, you're watching a press conference that's being given by the leaders of Sinn Fein. You heard there the president of Sinn Fein, Gerry Adams, who says that they want to engage as quickly as possible with the democratic process, and then also Michelle O'Neill, the Sinn Féin leader in Northern Ireland, ready to deliver for all the people. Let's dip in again.
That Arlene Foster needs to step aside before negotiations happen. Arlene Foster is a leader of the DUP, and we accept that absolutely. And Michelle, as she's just said through her officials, has been in touch with Mrs Foster to meet, to discuss this at whatever level they think is appropriate. Now, what we have said is that there is a need for this investigation or an inquiry to come to conclusions before we could nominate her for the position of First Minister, and that remains our position. But we only say that in response to your question. If I can just make a point in relation to my own role in this. I'm the leader of Sinn Fein. I nominated Martin McGuinness in his time for this position. If I'm given the opportunity, I'd be delighted to nominate Michelle O'Neill. Peter Robinson stood aside twice when there was controversy, and then took up his position again. So there's a sensible way to sort all of this out. It isn't that we're putting up absolute positions or red line positions. We're simply saying there is a scandal. There is a huge question over the loss, potentially, of £500 million of taxpayers' money. Let's get that sorted out. But that is not a precondition to negotiations starting on Monday at the DUP are up for that.
What will it take for Sinn Féin to go back into government with the DUP?
Well, I think, Sharon, we've constantly said throughout the period of the last number of weeks that the reason we're in the situation that we're in is because of the RHI scandal and the DUP's arrogance towards the public in relation to all of that. But also it's because we've had failure by the DUP and the British government, and indeed the Irish government, to implement previous agreements. So there are many key issues to be dealt with, but it's important that people come at it with the right attitude. We sought the strongest possible mandate to go back and deal with the problems that are there. That's what Sinn Féin want to do in the weeks ahead. If people come at it with that right attitude, then we could find a way forward.
Sure, you have one other issue.
Well, you'll have heard me say on many occasions that he is not an independent arbiter, that he has taken a very partisan stance, a very pro-unionist stance, particularly in relation to legacy, but also in relation to turning his mind against the will of the majority of people in terms of Brexit. So my position remains the same. I'll be saying that to James when I speak to him later on today. I'll be saying it also to Charlie Flanagan when I speak with him.
If direct rule is reimposed, how's that going to affect negotiations here?
Well, we're not planning for direct rule. We're going to come at the next number of weeks trying to find a way forward, trying to deal with all the issues that are there. Direct rule has failed the people here in the past and would again. So it's up to all the parties to come at it with the right attitude. Sinn Fein are coming at it with the right attitude, wanting to fix what's wrong. But we're not asking for anything unreasonable. What we're asking for is implementation of what has been previously agreed.
But if 3 weeks isn't a realistic deadline, is there a better period of time that you think is more realistic than 3 weeks?
This is about getting delivery in the main of agreements which have already been made. If everybody got together on Monday at 9 o'clock in the morning, we would have this finished by lunchtime.
Jerry, you've talked in the past about Arnie Foster standing aside the role of the First Minister while this inquiry takes place. It now seems that not going to be an interim report. The inquiry could last up to 12 months once people get tooled up with legal representatives, etc. Given what has happened here in 12 months, Jake, is it fair to ask her to stand aside for that period? And secondly, in relation to Brexit, such a key issue in the last few weeks during the campaign, will you be looking to have face-to-face talks not with James Brokenshire, but with the British Prime Minister to outline your views, your negotiating team's views about Brexit as part of this discussion over the next 3 weeks?
Well, to deal with the first question first, there are ways of an investigation, or as it is an inquiry, coming forward in modular form, dealing with pertinent issues. You know, there are ways of sorting all of these matters out. It's a very common sense position. I repeat what I said previously. Peter Roberts to decide twice. You know, I, if I'm given the opportunity, will be delighted to nominate Michelle O'Neill as I nominated Martin McGuinness. So let's come at this, as Michelle says, with a good heart and find ways to deal with these challenges. Yes, of course, we will be seeking meetings with the British Prime Minister. Martin McGuinness took those meetings on our behalf in the past. We'll be seeking meetings also with our Taoiseach, and you know, above and beyond the work that I do as a Teachta Dála, we want to be meeting him at leadership level to deal with all of these issues.
3-week process or afterwards?
Well, see, you're 100% right in identifying Brexit as one of the big game changers in terms of the future of this island and this part of the island and our relationship with our nearest offshore island. So we have to factor that into all of this. We have been on a bit of a diplomatic offensive in terms of dealing with all of the other European states who will really be deciding on these matters. So we'll continue on that work and seeking to put our views to the British Prime Minister will be part of that.